with the Cowboys facing 3rd and 10, down 4 to the Eagles. 5 in the pattern for Prescott, throwing in the middle and traps off the hands of Lamb, and incomplete. A lot of traffic in there. They cannot connect, and Dallas will punch it away for the first time.
The Dallas Cowboys with a chance to pull off the upset over Philly in Week 1, and they had all the momentum late, just let it slip away just like that, dropped from CeeDee Lamb's hands. 24-20 the final in Lincoln Financial Field, and we're going to break it all down here on Cowboys Rewind. I'm your host, Nicole Hutchison, and there were so many questions heading into Philly, and all eyes were on the Brian Schottenheimer era and trying to answer so many questions from the 2024 season, like can the Cowboys run the football effectively? Well, thanks to the Eagles' star defensive tackle, Jalen Carter, getting ejected from the game for literally spitting on Dak Prescott. Well, the Cowboys found some success in running the football in Javonte Williams. That opened up the play action with the Terror Twins and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Always got to sprinkle in some motion with Cavante Turpin, the highest rate of his career. But I mean, they were playing shoddy ball, as they like to call it. The Cowboys able to score on 4 of their offensive drives. The offensive line clicking, you love to see it, but then that rust started to kick in. You talk about the missed touchdown in the red zone. Then you also have to talk about CeeDee Lamb's drops as well. I mean, then there's also that red zone turnover in Miles Sanders. Offensively, things started off well, just shaky in the end, but it's Week 1. Still no excuses from head coach Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, it was really Calvin, a tale of two halves. You know, I talked to the guys about that in the locker room. You know, we came out on fire on offense in the first half, and defensively we struggled a little bit. And then I thought we made some great defensive adjustments in the second half, and we flipped it. We gave ourselves a chance to win, and offensively we didn't, really do enough. We put ourselves in more 3rd down and longs, and just weren't able to capitalize. But that's how a division game should feel, man. You know, we had good moments. They had good moments. They do what they do. You know, they bleed the clock on you, and they limit your opportunities. I think they had the ball for almost 35 minutes, and we got to make plays when they're there. You know, we got to get guys on the ground and things like that. Throw and catch a little bit better, and we had our chances.
CeeDee Lamb looked like he had maybe 3 or 4 drops in this ball game. What's your thoughts on just not finishing plays?
Don't worry about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee's going to be fine. What a great player. Again, this was a team defeat, and we own that. You know, we understand where we can go as a football team. We understand. I love the competition. I thought guys competed their butts off. I thought that was great. But we're all about winning, and we didn't win tonight, and so therefore it's not good enough.
Terrible. Honestly, I feel like, I can't point no fingers at nobody else, you know what I'm saying? And I take full accountability and everything else that come with it because, as for me as a player, I've prayed for moments like that, you know what I'm saying, and the ball to come my way. And obviously for me to not come up with it, bro, it stings a little bit. But I will tell you, if you think I'm not coming back any times harder than this, you got another thing coming.
How surprised were you just because, you talked in training games about how, the key thing was, you had to drop the ball, and I don't know if you had 2 drops off.
Yeah, I didn't. But, hey, God has a mysterious way of humbling folks. And I did come in with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. But, again, this is a lesson well learned. And, again, I deserve everything that come with it.
So you went to the tent. You go?
Oh, yeah, all is well. They made me go to the tent because I sat down on the field a little too long for their liking. So they just wanted to do a little,
CeeDee, does one bother you more than the other?
Nah, they all sting the same, honestly. But the ones down the stretch kind of hurt me a lot because, I pray for those. I pray for those type of things. But again, it's game 1. I'll be back. I just hope everybody else is ready.
Do you think about them and that motivates you, or you try to move past it as quickly as you can?
A little bit of both.
Obsess about it.
A little bit of both.
What did you like about the first half of the team?
You don't win the game in the first half. You don't win the game in the first half.
What are your thoughts on the offense in general and the way it performed tonight?
We put up a nice. We had a couple stretches where we were looking like the team that we were supposed to, and then we ended up turning the ball over, having drops, and for example, all of them, honestly. And I just feel like we have so much more room for improvement, and we can definitely be the team that we want to be. Just put our head down and continue to work.
We know you're going to be hard on yourself, but can you look past that to see just how promising the offense looks?
I will look past it, but right now I'm definitely going to look at this film and dread every drop. That's for sure.
Do you think playing in the preseason would help at all?
Nah, that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right now. I need to catch the damn ball.
CeeDee Lamb finishing with over 100 yards receiving, but not happy about those 4 drops he had. He had them in key moments that the Cowboys could have actually won the game as well. But there's certain things that the Cowboys can be happy about. Can we talk about at least a balanced offense? 119 rushing yards, 188 passing yards. Still a lot to improve on. But we're talking about this run game up next here on Cowboys Rewind. Stick with us.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
24-20, the final in week 1. The Cowboys fall to the Philadelphia Eagles, but they did find a spark in this run game. Led by Javonte Williams, he settled in so well, and you talk about the physicality he showed, turning small runs into big ones. He finished with 2 rushing touchdowns, and it was the first time a Cowboys running back had a rushing touchdown in the season opener since Ezekiel Elliott in 2016.
Yeah, a lot of holes. It was a good push, especially against a great D-line. I like the way they fought, aggressive. Everybody was coming off the ball together. I feel like we did good in pass protecting Dak. Yeah, but I feel like second half we kind of let off the gas a little bit. I mean, it just felt good the score. I mean, the way I did, because, I mean, last year I think I only had like 4 or something like that, and I had 2 in the first game. I mean, it just felt good, especially in the debut. And I just wanted to show Cowboys fans, the coaches, and everybody for putting their trust in me. I just wanted to repay them.
And shout out to that young offensive line up front trying to battle up against one of the top defensive fronts in the NFL. And even without Jalen Carter in the mix, no sacks on Dak. A few protection breakdowns in the second half, but overall, QB1 believes the ceiling is so high for this group.
Yeah, those dudes did a hell of a job, and I compliment them during that lightning delay. And again, after the game, I really think the only time I was on the ground was making the tackle after the fumble for the most part. Like, those young guys came out there, they set the tone on being physical. When we talk about being physical, it starts with the guys in the trenches on offense and defensive line. And our guys set the tone for us early, got the run game going, and kept me clean all night. So, yeah, a lot to be proud of, and that's one of the main things right there is how those guys play. And as you said, Tyler, to miss time throughout training camp, then to come back and thought maybe he'd be on a snap count, right? Something like that. And guy goes out there and shows he's ready and he can keep producing each and every drive or series, and he did that.
Well, there's a lot of upside for this offensive line, in QB1's eyes, of course. But, I mean, they did what they needed to do. They won the battle up front for the most part, but switching over to the defensive side of the ball, they had their very own struggles. The Cowboys hoping that they find some upside in this defensive line. I'm breaking that down up next here on Cowboys Rewind.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to Cowboys Rewind. The Cowboys falling to the Eagles 24-20, the final in Lincoln Financial Field, and it was a big test for this Matt Eberflus defense. Of course, not easy to go up against this Eagles offensive line, one of the best in the NFL. And when Micah Parsons left, I mean, this defense was left starving for some pass rush, and it showed up big time against the Eagles. It wasn't until the second half Eberflus was able to dial up some pressure and get home on Jalen Hurts with Marshawn Nealon, of course, and Kenny Clark, and then finally tried to manufacture with back-to-back corner blitzes, but both Diggs and Bland both missing the tackle. 2 sacks off the table, something that the Cowboys do not want to see, but pretty much summed up the Cowboys' struggles defensively Thursday night, along with defensive ends losing containment, Jalen Hurts making them pay, and the Eagles were able to extend drives. Of course, the Cowboys linebackers as well, hesitant on attacking their gaps. Saquon Barkley taking full advantage. Not the performance this defense was very proud of post-game.
Yeah, I said we did, but we just got to keep going, and it's going to get better.
What's the hope that tells you to get better?
I mean, if you was watching the game, you see the effort, the energy we put out. I mean, we lost. I mean, it's the game. Football is a game. So we just got to put this one behind us and worry about the Giants next.
I mean, obviously, we're still, upset about it because obviously we didn't uphold our standard that we had. But, it's promising for us. We know, obviously, as well as we feel like, we didn't play our best. There's a lot of good film on there, too. So, we just got to go back, get back in the lab, rewatch the game, finish doing the corrections that we need to, and, pretty much just get ready to saddle up back and get back at it next week. For the most part, I feel like, top to bottom, we played pretty solid. We played against a good football team, and we showed that we're a damn good football team, too. So, like I said, we just got to get back in the lab, make our corrections, and then maneuver from there.
Just like Malik Hooker hinted towards, there were some pros and there were some cons from that matchup. You talk about the Cowboys holding Saquon Barkley, a 2,000-yard rusher in 2024, to just 60 yards on the ground. Hey, I'll take it. You talk about them also allowing the Eagles to just 3 points in the second half. I'll take it as well. There's still a lot to build on as the time goes on. But there's still some storylines that we're building here heading into the kickoff against the Cowboys and Eagles. But were there some truth to it, or were there some cap? We're going to check in and see if the national media was capping or not capping up next year on Cowboys Rewind. It was Dak Prescott's first game back since November 2024. Of course, missing the remainder of the season due to a hamstring injury. So all eyes are on him, and it was the biggest storyline in the national media. The biggest question being asked, is it on Dak Prescott to lead the Dallas Cowboys over the Eagles and have success this season? Well, let's check in with this ESPN crew on Get Up, see what they have to say.
And the conversation came up. Is there a player in the league who has more pressure on him to play well this season than Dak Prescott? With everything that has happened, with taking his contract into account, when you consider what that defense might not be now without Micah Parsons, they give him the new weapon in George Pickens. Is it on Dak Prescott to lift his team, not just tonight, but throughout this season, unless it's going to be a disaster in Dallas?
I think if you're a Cowboys fan, the answer is yes. Dak Prescott has always been under scrutiny. I'm on the personal belief that if he was wearing any other logo in the NFL, everyone's going to be like, this guy's really great, he's an elite talent, all these things. But because it's the star, he has a target on his back 24/7, and he needs to show it this year because he got paid a lot of money, and he's supposed to stay upright and deliver the ball to George Pickens and then also CeeDee Lamb as well.
And staying upright is the biggest part of this, right? The Cowboys, it's an offensive line in transition against one of the best defensive fronts in the entire league tonight.
Absolutely. And again, you talk about Dak Prescott. Like, for him, he's the highest paid quarterback in the league on a per year basis. You don't have an America's Team documentary just to go out there and put an average product on the field. They go out and get George Pickens to go with CeeDee Lamb. He's got weapons. There's question marks on defense, but again, highest paid player in the league. Jerry Jones is sitting there with 4 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years. I think this is a massive year for Dak Prescott.
Yeah. So is it cap or no cap? I mean, I'm going no cap, of course. That's what you expect out of your franchise quarterback to lead your team, right? They made him the highest paid quarterback, like they mentioned, $60 million per year. So yes, of course, you've got to expect him to do that for your team. But I mean, despite the loss, right, you couldn't have asked Dak Prescott to play any better than what he did, considering not playing the preseason and also coming back from a hamstring injury. You look at the 2nd and 7 play, Dallas 15, and this completion to CeeDee Lamb, an 18-yard pickup. I mean, he's had to throw in some tight windows, but for the most part, he was actually dropping dimes. And you talk about this play right here, 3rd and 5, Pickens completion in the 4th quarter. I mean, are there some throws that he wishes he could have taken back? Absolutely. But he spread the ball around, hit 9 different guys, threw for 188 yards, took off for a run when he needed to. We love the mobility. But, I mean, obviously this offense has some improvements to make, and it'll start with Dak Prescott getting every single rep and getting better. We're wrapping things up here on Cowboys Rewind and talking about how the Cowboys look to move forward up next year after the break.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today. And to watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com.
With all the change, new head coach, group went out there, physical as hell, together. It was fun every way through. Obviously, we thought we had a chance, we had opportunities. Defense is trying to blame themselves in the first half, and offense is going to blame themselves in the second half. So a lot of accountability was taken in the locker room, but we're definitely process-oriented. And as Shadi said, if we continue to compete and play physical like that, we're going to be proud of the team that we can put together each and every week. So it's 1 of 17, and right, I didn't think we were going to go undefeated. So sucks. Wanted to get the first one, obviously, especially against a good team, a rival. Division, but we got to move on, and we got another division game next week. So
a lot of accountability taken in that locker room, as QB1 Dak Prescott mentioned, but that's been the common theme here under head coach Brian Schottenheimer. But at the end of the day, rivalries come down to making plays in big moments. Unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys unable to make plays in those big moments, falling 24-20 the final in Philadelphia. We're wrapping things up here on Cowboys Rewind. Nicole Hutchison alongside the very own Kyle Yeomans. And Kyle, I mean, there's a lot of good. There was a lot of bad as well when you talk about that loss, but what are some things that the Cowboys can build upon after that loss?
Well, I think the first things first, your first-year head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, came in with an executed game plan, and it really was executed at a high level. I thought what they did in the first half offensively was something to build on, running the football, setting the line of scrimmage, continuing to push the trenches backwards. No, they didn't have to go up against Jalen Carter, but you felt good about what a young offensive line was doing. Some good things from Tyler Guyton. Saw some physicality from him at the left tackle spot. Tyler Booker had his ups, had his downs, but at the same time, he's a rookie in his first NFL game. So with all that being said, I thought Brian Schottenheimer executed the game plan better in that first half in the game plan he brought into the game. On the other side, for Matt Eberflus, I thought the adjustments were better going into the second half. I thought the defense, kind of like what Dak said there, it was a tale of two halves, and that second half was a much better product from the defense. If you tell me that Saquon Barkley is held to 3.3 yards per carry over the entire game, A.J. Brown has just 1 reception for 8 yards. Devontae Smith has just 3 receptions for 14 yards. I think you win this football game most times in that case. The defense did their job. Were they perfect? No, they had to contain Jalen Hurts. They were 8 of 13, the Philadelphia Eagles were, on third down. You got to be better at stopping it, getting off the field, but definitely some things to build on both sides.
You talk about the adjustments. That hour rain delay actually helped defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. The Cowboys not able to get any pressure on Jalen Hurts, but able to dial up some pressure with the quarterback blitzes. Trayvon Diggs, of course, like I mentioned earlier in the show, Deron Bland missed tackling on Jalen Hurts. But what's something that you want to see in terms of this Cowboys defense trying to get pressure and getting home on quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think for the most part, when you look at how they were scheming up pressure, it was different from the first half than it was in the second half. There was a lot of gap discipline in the first half that was taking up the interior of the defensive line. You were relying heavily on Kenny Clark in his first game as a Cowboy, Osa Odigizua to get a lot of pressure on the interior. Solomon Thomas did some good things on the inside as well. The edge rushers have to be better at finishing and setting up that pocket, setting the edge. We saw some good things from Marshawn Nealon. I want to see more from guys like Dante Fowler Jr., who got pinched inside far too often in the matchup and allowed Jalen Hurts to escape. Same thing for Sam Williams. He had a tough matchup when it came to the offensive line. Philadelphia has one of the best offensive fronts in all of football, and we saw them challenge Dallas in the front seven. My biggest thing, the pressure wasn't there. Yes, you missed a piece like Micah Parsons that's able to finish because he would have had multiple opportunities to do so on Thursday night. However, they were better stopping the run in this game than maybe any other time we've seen over the last couple of years. 3.3 yards for Saquon Barkley. You hold him to 50 yards overall. I have a lot of positivity when it comes to the run defense, which was a huge question mark for this team. And I don't even think the linebackers played quite well across the board. I thought there were some bad things that the linebackers did in game one. It'll get cleaned up, and as long as your interior defensive line does a good job of setting the gap and continuing forward, I think they'll be better at the run defense throughout the entire season.
I mean, you talk about the run defense and Kenny Clark, a big piece of that. The Cowboys, of course, trading Micah Parsons for 2 first-rounders, and then they also get a starter in the interior defensive line in Kenny Clark. A lot to improve on, a lot to build upon as well as the Cowboys move on to week 2. The Cowboys hosting the New York Giants. It's a noon kickoff at AT&T Stadium.